Picture this. You just finished a 12-hour shift. You're exhausted. Your feet are screaming. All you want to do is go home and completely shut off your brain. The last thing you're thinking about is whether or not you're building wealth as a medical professional. You keep telling yourself you'll get your finances sorted out later. But in our world, later often translates to never. It gets shoved down the list, right? Behind the shifts you need to work, the charts you need to finish, and all of the stuff that has to happen at home. But what if I told you that 5 simple money moves you can execute in less time than it takes to chart on a crazy day, can skyrocket you towards your financial independence future before 2026 even starts? That's what we're walking through in this video. I'm Kristen Burton. I'm a critical care PA and the founder of Millionaires in Medicine, where we help medical professionals like you use money as a tool to actually design their dream life. When I was a new PA in 2016, I was exactly like you probably have been at one point, drowning in debt, overwhelmed with the level of work, and felt like I had no time for my financial journey. As a matter of fact, even if I would have had the time, I didn't really know what I was supposed to be doing anyway. I had this feeling like money was going to be a problem for future me. You know, the me that was wiser and older and knew more stuff. But I ultimately had a wake-up call when I finished paying off my student loan debt and realized I'm not wealthy. This didn't actually make me any more financially successful, despite it being really hard to do. And so maybe I need to learn a thing or two about how to actually build wealth as a medical professional and not just make extra debt payments. So today I'm sharing 5 wealth hacks for busy medical professionals like us. You should be able to implement all of these in a single day, and they will help catapult your 2026 towards your financial freedom future. Hack 1, automate your wealth machine. Money is so much better than like getting in shape, right? I could go to the gym every single day for like a month, but then if I stop doing that for the next 6 months, I will not be in shape. Money's not like that. You can actually go in and automate your wealth building machine so that while you do absolutely nothing, the money equivalent of not going to the gym, you actually are building wealth. The process is shockingly simple. What you need to do is not just automate contributions to like a savings account or even an investment account. You need to automate purchase orders of index funds or ETFs so that without you doing anything, money is moving from your checking account, right? That bucket where all the money you receive from work drops in, and it is being deployed into income producing assets without you. That's the key. So what does automation look like? This is super simple in a 401k or 403b. You contribute money every paycheck and it gets auto-invested. Now, it likely gets auto-invested poorly if you haven't actually looked at this, right? And you may well be in funds you would never choose if you knew how much they were charging you, but it gets auto-invested. Now, you can do the same thing in any investment account outside of work. You can open a Roth IRA at any major custodian, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, Fidelity. Same thing with a taxable brokerage account. And you can actually automate not only contributions, but investment purchase orders. That is the ticket to building a wealth machine that happens automatically without you doing anything. So you have to exercise no mental discipline, right? To get this done, once you set it up, all you have to do is stay out of the way. Hack 2, build your financial code blue card, right? We all know where the code card is, or we should, right? I'm in critical care, so the code card and me are buddies. But for the rest of you guys, you might be like, where's that thing again? You need to have a code blue card for your money. This requires a few pieces. 1, you need emergency cash reserves. This seems so obvious, but if you don't have it, the simplest thing, right? A car accident, a minor emergency room visit will trash you financially and you'll end up accruing high interest debt. For most of us, it's 3 months of expenses. If you're in like an MSL position or a locums world where you have less job security, you might err on the side of 6 months. If you don't have it yet, you can automate your way there. Again, same thing. Go back, you can use hack 1, apply it to hack 2, and actually automate a transfer from your checking account every single month to not a savings, right? Because we're not going to earn nothing on our money, to a high yield savings on every single pay period. And then you'll arrive at your emergency fund goal without you having to actually go in and do anything. The other 2 pieces of this involve insurance. You need short-term disability so that if you can't work for up to 90 days, you have some type of insurance coverage in place. You also need an own occupation long-term disability policy. Now, own occupation coverage is quite a bit different than the long-term disability coverage that they gave you at work. That coverage does nothing for you unless you are completely, totally disabled, right? Cannot earn any money, period. There's a lot of life that can exist between cannot be an XYZ medical professional and cannot earn anything, period. An own occupation policy actually kicks in if you cannot do your current job. So if you're a surgical PA and you have really bad bilateral carpal tunnel syndrome, you can still use your long-term disability policy if it's an own occupation policy when you can no longer use your hands, even though you could have gone and earned some money doing telepsych or something else. That policy is something you'll need to get separate from work. I use Pertuity for that because they are a broker that will rate shop 5+ policies instantly for you on your behalf so that you can figure out if you're paying the best price. I'll put the link to Pertuity in the description for you for quick access. Hack 3, prescribe yourself a pay raise. It is time for you to get on the books a meeting with your supervisor to talk about compensation for 2026. You need to have a structured plan to negotiate yourself a raise. I teach an in-depth system on how medical professionals can negotiate at their current job or while changing jobs for maximal compensation, with our goal always being the 75th percentile based on your level of experience, location, and subspecialty. That's all inside the income blueprint. And so if this is an area where you know, hey, I'm underpaid and I'm not being compensated what I should be, this is a big money move for me, click the link below. It'll be in the description. You can get access to the income blueprint. Now, this is like the most underrated money move to pull by the end of the year. Why? People get so focused on like, I'm gonna skip Starbucks, I'm gonna not go to Panera, I'm not gonna add the guacamole at Chipotle, but that's a one-time little baby move. It doesn't matter. If you could earn $15,000 more next year, well, when your paycheck is like $1,000 a month more every single month, that matters, right? Get yourself the guac. Don't worry a thing about that. Do this. This is the stuff that moves the needle and actually matters. Now you might be thinking, hey, Kristen, I'm good on that. I'm comfortable with my pay. It's not a big deal. Make sure you have watched this video on my 6-step system for determining if you're underpaid before you make that call. Now, by the way, if there's some of you guys out there and you're like hustling to earn extra money, you're doing a bunch of crazy stuff, share it below. Drop in the comments below the video the weirdest, craziest things you've done to increase your income as a medical professional and your horror stories, because yeah, we all know we've got them. Hack 4. Stop tipping Uncle Sam. Now, if you're just a straight W-2 employee, you've got nothing else going on, the way that you can minimize your taxable income is by using pre-tax accounts. Things like 401ks, 403bs, health savings accounts, even FSAs. If you have kids and you have childcare costs and you're not using a dependent care FSA, whoa, you're leaving about $1,000 a year on the table. Use these accounts to reduce your taxable income. If you are 1099, you do locums work, you own your own practice, now there's like a whole nother world available to you. You have self-employed income, you're a business owner. You get access to a bunch of other deductions, and you should have a good CPA to make sure that you're actually maximizing that. We've got one for you. I can link their practice below, but they specifically work with medical professionals that are high income, like doing locums work, for example, to help them use strategies like an LLC with an S-Corp election to minimize your self-employment tax and make sure that you're taking home more money than you're tipping Uncle Sam. Now, if you're an investor, it's a whole nother ballgame as well. If you have the ability to invest in real estate or oil and gas, for example, you can actually get tremendous tax savings even if all of the rest of your income is W-2 only. But you need a little bit of juice to do that, right? You need some capital. So go back to hack 3, renegotiate your income and make sure that you're earning maximally so that you can become the person who invests in those things. Hack 5, put your money to work so that you don't have to. Please invest in low-cost index funds and ETFs that are passive so that you can have maximal returns over the long term. This meshes so well with hack number 1. If you're still investing in actively managed mutual funds, go look at the SPIVA report. This is a report that comes out every single year that has shown over long periods of time, we're talking decades, the actively managed funds do not outperform the index on an after-fee, after-tax basis. So stop buying actively managed stuff. Don't mess around buying individual stocks and trading around on Robinhood. Go buy a well-diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds and ETFs. Automate your purchase orders, right? Combine hacks 1 and 5, and you will actually see your wealth start to grow in a maximal way. Now, there are a lot of ways to build assets outside of a stock bond portfolio, but this is a beautiful place to start because you can start with $20. You don't need $50,000 to go invest in the syndication into a multifamily, right? You need $20 to go buy VTI inside your Roth IRA. It is so easy, and we're living in a day and age where the barrier to entry is almost non-existent. If you're not taking advantage of this, you are missing out. Hack 1, automate your wealth building machine. Hack 2, create your code blue money cart. Hack 3, prescribe yourself a pay raise. Hack 4, stop tipping Uncle Sam. And hack 5, put your money to work in low-cost index funds and ETFs. You can set up all of this stuff in a day. If you do, you're gonna look up in 2026 and find yourself in a vastly different financial situation.